Hey everyone, welcome to Joanfo Kitchen, where we just enjoy food. So let's enjoy this skinless yet juicy and of course flavorful oven jerk chicken. Alright guys, so I have this chicken here, and this chicken, the skin of this chicken was just too dirty. It had too much of the extra feathers that's left over on the skin of the chicken on it, and it would be too much work for me to clean up tonight, and I'm very tired. So that is why we are doing this video today. So we're going to be doing an oven roasted jerk chicken, and I wanted to show you guys how you can get the same juicy, flavorful tenderness without the skin. Alright, so I've already cleaned, de-skinned, and washed my chicken thoroughly with vinegar water. And what I did with the thighs here is to just put some slits in these areas because they tend to take a lot more time to cook. And for the breast, I just put like a tiny slit in the center. Alright, so I pat this dry, and I got it as dry as I can. And because it's jerk chicken and we'll be using jerk seasoning, of course, I'm not going to put a lot of the other seasonings that I normally use on it. So I'm going to start off with 1 tablespoon of my blended green seasoning. About a tablespoon. A teaspoon of all-purpose seasoning. And I'm using store-bought jerk seasoning, and because those tend to be high in sodium, I'm going to do 1 teaspoon of salt. And I'm using sea salt. So I'm going to go in with 4 tablespoons of my jerk seasoning, and I'm using this one today. And for a hint of sweetness, I'm going to add a tablespoon of honey. And I almost forgot, because we don't have the skin on, I'm going to add a little bit of browning for color. Just a teaspoon. We don't need much. So I'm going to massage this flavor into my chicken and put it in my fridge to marinate overnight. You don't have to marinate your chicken overnight if you don't have the time. Anywhere from 1 hour upwards is fine. Alright guys, so my chicken has marinated overnight. So I'm gonna lay the pieces in my baking dish here. And two things that I forgot to mention is that one, I purposefully left some of the small pieces of fat on the meat because this helps the meat to remain moist during the cooking process. And the green seasoning recipe is linked in the description box below. So I'm going to pour on the remaining juices that's left in the pan just to get all that flavor on there. And I'm going to cover this with some foil for at least half of the cooking time, because remember, we don't have the skin on there and we're trying to lock in all the moisture, so this helps the chicken from drying out too quickly. So my oven has been preheated for about 5 minutes at 175 degrees Celsius or 347 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm going to place this in my oven for at least half an hour and then check on that. Alright guys, so after half an hour, this is what we have so far. And I wish you guys could smell it. It smells amazing. So I'm going to put the cover back on and place this in my oven for an additional 15 minutes. And then I'm going to remove the foil and let it cook uncovered for the remainder of the time. Alright, so 15 minutes have passed and this is the result. And the chicken is almost done. So what I'm going to do now is to drain some of this juice. Not all of it though, because as I said before, we want the most juicy, tender, flavorful chicken. And I'm going to be cooking it uncovered for the remaining time. So I'm going to be adding some beer for extra flavor. And this is one of the reasons why I took out most of the juice. Alright, and any beer will do. It doesn't have to be any special brand. So I'm going to put this back in my oven and I'm going to keep a close eye on it because I don't want it to dry out too much as I finish cooking it uncovered. Alright, so my chicken is done. I place it back in my oven for an additional 15 minutes and I made sure that I baste it every 5 minutes because I want it to remain moist. You could also turn up your oven or put it under your broiler, but I wouldn't recommend you cooking your chicken for no longer than an additional 5 minutes because you don't want it to burn and you want to retain all the juiciness. Alright, so I'm going to do a quick sauce to go with my chicken. So in the pot here I have all the juices that I collected from baking the chicken in the oven, and to it I've already added 1 tablespoon of honey as well as 3 tablespoons of tomato ketchup. So I'm going to add this slurry, which is 1 teaspoon of flour with a little bit of water in order to thicken it. You could also add or use cornstarch or corn flour. I prefer flour. And then I'm going to reduce the flame and let that simmer for 10 minutes. After which we're gonna have a delicious flavorful sauce to go with our chicken.
And there you have it, tender, juicy, skinless oven jerk chicken. I enjoyed mine with a side of sweet potato fries and bami. Thanks so much for watching. It's always a pleasure having you in my kitchen. Please like, share and subscribe. I'd love to see you in the next video. Go ahead and give this recipe a try. You can tag and follow me on Instagram at juenfo_. And remember, live life to the fullest and just enjoy food.